It's never too early to peer into the crystal ball and wonder how next year's free agent market will play out.
Derrick Henry, there it is. Move out the way.
Move out the way.
Derrick Henry, and you even added him, is headed to the Eagles.
How will chaos unfold in March of 2024? We present our way too early predictions on where the top 15 NFL free agents of 2024 will land. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons. It just feels like the Minnesota Vikings are ready to move on from Cousins after 2023. They can't use the franchise tag on him in 2024 and have made it pretty clear to him that they're not keen on an extension at this time. When you begin to look around the league, there aren't many teams that make logical sense as landing spots for a QB who will be 36 years of age in 2024. But at the same time, the bottom feeders with the need for a quarterback can just find someone in the draft. So Cousins will likely land with a middle-of-the-road team, and I think the Falcons make sense. Arthur Smith got 7 wins out of a team with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder as its quarterbacks last year. Adding Cousins to an offense featuring Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Tyler Algier would be a scary thought for the NFC. A 2-year pact with Cousins makes the most sense for the two parties. Josh Jacobs, Los Angeles Rams. The Rams project to have just over $48 million in cap space in 2024, meaning GM Les Snead will finally be able to spend freely again after being right up against the cap for over the last few years. The Rams have lacked a true big-time running back threat since Todd Gurley's last great season in 2018. Matt Stafford can't be asked to carry this offense that much given his recent back injuries and age. Jacobs, though, would fit perfectly in the Rams' offense as a do-it-all running back. An offensive genius like McVay made Gurley an MVP caliber player. Now let's give him a new special toy and former rushing leader to headline the offense in 2024. Saquon Barkley, Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Jay Ajayi way back when in 2016. In other words, help is definitely wanted in the backfield. With Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Phillips on their rookie deals, this is Miami's time to go all in. They already followed that mindset by trading for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey, but adding one of the game's most explosive running backs could lift them from playoff contender to Super Bowl contender. Mike McDaniel got solid running back production out of Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. in 2022. What about giving him a workhorse running back who produces both in the ground game and as a pass catcher? It also helps that the Dolphins play in a state with no income tax, so that would help them outbid the other competitors for Barkley's services. Mike Evans, Buffalo Bills. Evans already has the big bucks, a Hall of Fame case, and most importantly, a Super Bowl 55 championship ring. So why finish his career on a rebuilding Tampa Bay Buccaneers team when he can chase extra greatness and rings elsewhere? Evans is one of football's premier deep threats and contested catch artists. He would do absolute wonders in that Buffalo offense with Josh Allen's mad scrambling skills and prolific deep ball. Because Evans will be on the wrong side of 30, a 2 or 3 year deal worth $15 million or so annually makes sense for both sides, especially if a seemingly disgruntled Stefon Diggs is out of Buffalo by next year. T. Higgins, Houston Texans. The Cincinnati Bengals would love to keep Higgins, but he's probably going to be rightfully chasing WR1 money. And you really can't blame him because that is way more attractive than taking a pay cut to play second fiddle to Jamar Chase. Higgins has exceeded 70 catches and 1,000 yards receiving in each of the last 2 seasons, with 13 total touchdowns over that span. And that's all while sharing targets with Chase and another stud receiver in Tyler Boyd. Look, many teams are going to be happy to give Higgins true WR1 money and the opportunity to be the undisputed go-to receiver in their offense. Looking around the league, the Texans already feel like a natural fit. The Texans need to supply CJ Stroud with as much weaponry as humanly possible. And they'll have the cap space to outbid just about everybody else for Higgins. Stroud's deep arm and improvising abilities would go hand in hand with Higgins' 50-50 ball skills. This fit just seems too perfect not to happen. Brian Burns, Carolina Panthers. It is simply too hard to envision the Panthers moving on from their only true and proven bona fide superstar. Burns is one of the game's elite edge rushers, having posted a career-high 12.5 sacks last season. Explosive defensive playmakers of his era just don't come around too often, and the Panthers have every reason to hand him a 9-figure contract. If a long-term extension isn't possible, there is always the franchise tag. No matter what, he is staying put one way or another. Quinnen Williams, New York Jets. With Aaron Rodgers now leading the way, the Jets are officially in win now mode, and that means doing whatever it takes and keeping all your franchise players, especially the young studs that are just entering their prime years. Williams, the number 3 selection of the 2019 NFL Draft, has low-key been one of the game's top pass rushers over the last 3 years. After a meh rookie year, Williams has racked up 25 total sacks since 2020, including a career-high 12 in 2022. Williams and Sauce Gardner are the backbone of Robert Saleh's defense. If the Jets let Williams walk, what are the odds they'll find an equal or superior defensive tackle? Yeah, practically zero. Assuming Aaron Donald or Chris Jones don't walk through that door. No reason to think that Williams will hit the open market. It is a lucrative long-term deal or the franchise tag in 2024. That man is not going anywhere. Jeffrey Simmons, Tennessee Titans. Simmons has cemented himself as one of the game's top interior defensive linemen, and even if the Titans decide to rebuild without Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill in 2024, they surely view Simmons as a long-term foundational piece. Similar deal here as Brian Burns in Carolina. If the Titans can't hit a long-term deal with Simmons ahead of free agency, they'll place the franchise tag on him. Tennessee boasts one of football's best front sevens, especially in the rushing D department. Do not be surprised if Simmons' extension pushes 9 figures. He is that good and that instrumental to the team's success. Trevon Diggs, Las Vegas Raiders. The Dallas Cowboys would love to keep their ball-hawking specialist long-term, but the salary cap doesn't let teams retain all their star players. Jerry Jones is used to bidding farewell to expensive veterans. See Ezekiel Elliott, Dalton Schultz, and Amari Cooper, when the occasion calls for it. As great a playmaker Diggs is on the ball, he's not exactly one of football's elite shutdown cornerbacks. He's still prone to giving up big plays, and so the Cowboys shouldn't be shy to let him walk and seek greener pastures. And who better to overpay for a good but not quite elite corner than Mark Davis's Raiders? They too play in a state with no income tax and can offer Diggs all the money that he wants. Plus, Vegas needs a guy who can make some plays against Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in that division. Do not be surprised if Diggs signs the biggest free agent deal ever for a quarterback. TJ Hawkinson, Indianapolis Colts. Michael Pittman Jr. is the only proven playmaking pass catcher on the Colts offense, and he too is a free agent in 2024. Whether Pittman Jr. stays or not, the Colts have to add more receiving help around Anthony Richardson. Hawkinson is coming off a career year split with the Vikings and Detroit Lions, in which he recorded 86 receptions for 914 yards and 6 touchdowns. Think the Colts could use a nice third down security blanket and receiving weapon to help Richardson blossom? We sure do. Antoine Winfield Jr. Houston Texans. Winfield Jr. has been low-key one of football's best do-it-all safeties since breaking into the league in 2020. Not only is he superb in coverage, but Winfield also flourishes as a pass rusher, having recorded a career-best 4 sacks in 2023. Gotta think that Winfield Jr. will be hesitant to re-up on a Tampa Bay team facing a dark future with Tom Brady long gone. And with Winfield Jr. just entering his prime years, he should be sold on the idea of joining an up-and-coming Houston team. New head coach DeMeco Ryans has a knack for getting the most out of all his defensive players. He would do absolute wonders with a chess piece like Winfield Jr., who could form a scary good defensive back duo alongside rising star Derek Stingley Jr. Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts. Yes, there are plenty of reasonable examples about why teams shouldn't extend a star running back long term. But there are also guys like Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, and of course, Derrick Henry, who showed that sometimes that risk is worth taking. And with the Colts building their offense around a dual-threat QB like Anthony Richardson, why would you let a player like Taylor walk? If it weren't for injuries, the 2021 rushing champion would have easily crossed 1,000 yards again in 2022. Taylor will be entering his age 25 season come 2024. He is absolutely worth investing in long term because, quite frankly, who's stopping a rushing game anchored by Taylor and Richardson? You gotta give your young quarterback all the playmakers. How does Richardson benefit from Taylor leaving town? That's right, he doesn't. Chris Jones, Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't been afraid to let big-name players like Tyreek Hill, Tyrann Mathieu, Dee Ford, Frank Clark, or Orlando Brown Jr. walk when the money isn't right. But how do you move on from a future Hall of Famer like Chris Jones, who only seems to get better with age? There's no way the Chiefs win Super Bowl 54 or 57 without his power, strength, and consistent game-wrecking ways. Other than maybe Aaron Donald, there isn't a better defensive tackle in the game than Jones. The Chiefs are strictly in win-now mode, and that means paying Jones whatever he wants as Andy Reid and company chases dynasty status. Derrick Henry, Philadelphia Eagles. We know that running backs tend to slow down well before their 30th birthdays, but Henry is like the T-1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That is, that he is built different, and practically is an unbreakable force when he's healthy. But regardless of how he fares in 2023, it is hard to envision the Titans committing long-term money to a 30-year-old Henry next year. It just feels like he'll go ring-chasing and sign a short-term pact with a contender. So why not the Eagles? Their top two RBs, DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny, are only under contract for 2023. A big bruising RB like Henry would be the cherry on top of an offense featuring Jalen Hurts, the league's best O-line and arguably the game's best receiving duo in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. A 1 or 2 year deal for Henry makes perfect sense. Nick Bosa, San Francisco 49ers. Sorry to be boring and predictable, but where else would Bosa go? Why would the San Francisco 49ers let the heart and soul of their defense leave? Why would Bosa want to play anywhere else? The reigning Defensive Player of the Year has made his case as the game's best edge rusher. The 49ers had no problem re-upping George Kittle, Trent Williams, Fred Warner, and Deebo Samuel to long-term extensions, and they surely won't shy away from doing the same for Bosa. He is here to stay for a long time. But where do you think the top 15 NFL free agents in 2024 will sign? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.